Hello and welcome to this next episode of Ghost. Today we are here with Rachael Hollwey, and she's going to be talking about some of her challenges with anorexia, a rare disease that's brought her to Malta, and ultimately an amazing business that she's since set up called Reach 100. But before that, Stephen, how are you, man? I've not seen you in a while.
Good. Things have been very busy, but 2020 is off to a good start.
Yeah. Busy?
I've been working incredibly hard in my new job role. I'm working for a cybersecurity company. It's very secretive. No, it's not really too secretive, but it's a fast-growing company. We're almost kind of like above a startup stage, but it feels still like a startup. It's moving that fast in the right direction.
You were stressed last time, so has that improved your stress level?
It has quite a bit. Anytime I get a chance, I do a quick bit of mindfulness, even if it's just 2 minutes.
Okay.
I'll just do a 2-minute YouTube video on mindfulness.
Okay.
Really helps. I'll try and sneak in 10 minutes of yoga before I go to work and maybe after. Yeah.
I've actually been doing, because I travel a lot for work as well, and I found that with traveling, I'm not always staying in a hotel that's got a gym. I just never find any time to work out. So now I'm just trying to be really strict. Just even if I do 20 minutes in the morning, just yoga, just stretches, then it just starts my day.
Yeah.
It's just a lot better for your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be great, really. So, and I've been away I've got a new haircut.
I like it, man. I like
Shaving
it.
my head for everyone that can't see me. I've been hanging on. I was hanging on to those 6 strands for too long, probably. But now it's cool, actually. I feel a lot better. So now I wake up and don't worry about sorting my hair out.
Yeah, it's way easier. I had to put gel on mine today. It's annoying.
I'm saving on products. Because now means I have to spend more money on making sure my face looks good.
Oh, and your beard.
And my beard, yeah, exactly. But I was in Cuba. So I just got back this week. And have you been to Cuba?
No.
Oh my god! Like honestly, it's such a. I can't even explain. There's no amount of explanation can explain how good it is. And I think I was a bit not apprehensive, but didn't really have any preconceptions. I didn't really know what to expect. Only obviously understanding that it's a communist state.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's going to be, and obviously the embargo is still in place. And there'll be some classic cars. That's what I kind of thought. But and so much so, I was thinking, okay, it's just going to be the square. We have classic cars, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But they were just everywhere. It was unbelievable because what I really like about it is that it's such a different society or approach to society. Because today we are very much we are disposable. We live in a disposable society. So this iPhone that I got 2 months ago, I'll probably get a new one in 8 months, which is ridiculous because the phone works, the camera works. There's no need. And it's even like this T-shirt. I bought it last summer. I'll probably wear it till summer and then I'll throw it away. Well, in Cuba, I think because there's such a lack of availability to just everyday material items, it means that they just continually kind of look after things, they rebuild things, and so much so the classic cars, they like to be inside of one as well, especially, and it feels like you're back in the 50s. It's unbelievable, and the people there, even though so the doctors, for example, it's like high-end doctors in the hospitals, they're paid the equivalent of $50 a month.
Wow.
It's just you think how can you even live? It's just, but they manage, and everyone is so happy. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously there are some that are a bit frustrated, but on the whole, everyone we met, because we stayed in central Havana, which is so we stayed in what they call a casa particular, which is basically like an Airbnb, but in the old town bit. And if I'm honest, there's some points when it was nighttime, and on the first night anyway, and we're walking back through these. And your natural instinct is to be a bit guarded, especially I was there with my girlfriend, so I was thinking, okay, shit, I might get jumped here. Because that's what you think if you're in London. But they are the sweetest people. They come up and go, hey, they just want to talk to you because you're not from there. And they know, especially being from Malta, they're like, where's Malta? So you have to show them on the map, and they're really genuinely interested. And it's such a it's just a wonderful experience, really, because you just you see this kind of genuine interest rather than someone trying to just speak to you to get money or to hassle you. So it's just really, really, the people were just absolutely lovely. And we went to a place called Trinidad, not to be confused with Trinidad and Tobago, the islands. And it was like a 5-hour car ride from Havana. And there's just music everywhere. Like, you think, okay, you go to like Manchester or Liverpool, like these the home of rock and roll. This is just like something else. Like every bar, every restaurant has just got like Latin music playing. Even some of them got like, we went to yesterday bar, it's like a Beatles bar, and the band there were just unreal. Like, you would happily pay money to see them. They're that good. So it's just, I don't know, maybe it's because, again, there's a lack of phones and like TVs and general distractions we have today. Just maybe then kind of drives them more inward to be more creative, or they maybe just give themselves the time to paint and things like that, because the artwork there as well is just insane. So
that's
I would just
fascinating.
Honestly, I'd recommend going. And also the lobster. Oh my god, it was fucking ginormous. Like, and it cost like 18, equivalent to €18, and it's like, it was like an alien's tail. It was fucking giant, absolutely massive. And on the grill, just, I feel like I should probably write to the Cuban tourist board and say, do you want me to be your advocate? Because honestly, great. And also I've got a great tan from it. So that's me, really. That's what I've been up to. And then obviously still with Few on our mobile booking platform. Working hard at that and getting that built. So it's all hands on deck at the moment. But enjoying it.
All positive.
Yeah, and obviously we've got Rachael on today, which is going to be cool. It's going to be a bit of a roller coaster, I think. But it should be. I'm looking forward to kind of hearing the bad stuff, but also the good stuff as well. I think we should start, shall we?
Yeah.
Cool. This week's show is brought to you by Soho Office Space. Soho Office Space is awesome. Personally, I've worked in a multitude of co-working spaces, and these guys have totally hit the mark. Not only with their community team, but the whole joined up togetherness, if that's even a phrase, of their offering, despite the fact they have multiple office locations, really brings and accentuates a genuine community vibe I've not experienced anywhere else before. Also, if you're just an individual trying to build an empire, or a bigger scale-up company looking for a solid yet connected workspace for your staff and even for yourself, these guys are it. Not forgetting the fact that every Wednesday they really like to cook up an awesome lunch and share that with everyone, which is such a nice little touch. And they have got a brand new location on the Strand, which for those that are not in Malta, it's in Sliema, which has got an incredible and ginormous roof terrace. So I know exactly where I'm going to be this summer, burning my bald head and working. So if you guys are interested, please go to www.sohomalta.com/dosed for discounts and any inquiries. Rachael. Hi. Hollwey. Rachael Hollwey.
The Hollwey girl.
The Hollwey girl. Right. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Enjoying the sun?
Yes, I'm enjoying the, despite me wearing a winter hat. I went out today, it's bloody boiling outside. It's lovely.
We should be doing this outside.
We should be doing
Next
this
one
outside.
we'll do it outside.
Yeah. Especially for today's one. Come on.
Of course, yes, sorry. we can turn the heat up.
I've allowed it.
So, obviously lots to talk about with you today. An unbelievable 10 years, last 10 years for you, or more now, I'd say. 12. But before we delve into it, so Malta, you're in Malta.
I am in Malta.
Yeah. Enjoying it?
I like it now.
How long have you been here now?
A year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm off of that months counting, you know.
Yeah, okay, nice,
yeah. Stage of 8 months.
And you're over the phase of holiday mode.
Oh god, yeah.
So my first 6 months, I was like trying not to go out every night because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm in holiday. It feels like I'm on
That's
holiday.
real. I don't live by the beach anymore either, so that helped. But yeah, first 6 months horrendous, but stuck at it, and now I absolutely love it.
Mm.
So
What were the best bits of being in Malta, would you say, at the moment?
I quite like how it's so small.
Okay.
Because things happen a bit easier. Everyone says like things don't happen, but like meeting you guys, things happen quicker, and yeah, just making lots of friends.
Yeah, I've got that as well. Like it's easier. I found it's easier to network, or you don't. I would say you don't have to put as much effort in, but it's kind of you can make effort in the right way, and then it comes around quicker.
Yeah. Exactly,
rather than like in a place like London, you have to be out
taking
forever.
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I quite like the local life. We've made it like villagey, go to the butchers,
oh, nice.
veg man and stuff like that.
It's so much nicer actually. That's
I
what
love
I do.
that life.
Yeah.
That's how I used to live in Ireland.
So once
I
you
love
establish
it.
that community.
Yeah, which is
it's
cool.
great.
I love it. Yeah.
Where in Ireland are you from?
My dad's from Dublin, Priory.
Okay.
Yeah,
Represent.
Represent. Yeah, I wish I could be there.
What about you? What do you like about Malta the most?
Um, 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Obviously the weather is the easy thing to say, but you know, I really like Maltese people. I like the way they're very off the cuff, very similar to Ireland in that way. They're island people. We're similar to that too. Less bureaucracy.
Maltese and Irish say three the same.
Yeah.
They say tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities actually. It's surprising.
Yeah.
Big Catholics.
Yeah, Catholic country too. It does kind of resonate, kind of more of a community feel.
Yeah, and family.
Yeah, no, there's lots of things. I mean, I could talk about this for 2 hours.
But anyway, not today. We're on Rachel, not you.
Yeah.
So okay, where to start really? I guess. So, I guess what. There's so much to talk about. I'm just trying to think. Okay, where do we start? So, you know, what was the trigger, I'd say, for you to come to Malta in the first place? You know, what brought you here?
I had to move quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I had about 4 or 6 weeks from a doctor's appointment where my hands and feet blistered quite badly over the years, and it got worse and worse.
Okay.
They tried everything, and then the doctors were like, we don't know what to do, and it was so bad that I was going to potentially have my hands and feet amputated if I didn't do something.
So go back. So they started blistering. So what do you mean? So what?
So they called it Raynaud's.
Okay.
Cold, like even though they weren't white, they would go blistering and red, but they just said Raynaud's, and I knew it wasn't right.
Okay.
I just had to fight for them to keep investigating,
Sure.
and then I started getting a lot of pain in my body as well.
Okay.
So then realised.
What are the so Raynaud's? What are the typical symptoms?
Just your hands going quite cold and white and losing circulation,
Okay.
which evidently doesn't happen with my hands.
I see.
But
they would just were they prescribing certain drugs then for that,
yeah,
or they
like
just
steroid creams, nifedipine, which is for circulation, but
Mm-hmm.
my blood
Steroids.
pressure is really low, so
Yeah.
that was really bad for my body.
Mm-hmm.
Then they offered infusions where I'd have to sit there for 8 hours with infusions in my hands and feet and go back every few months and do it, and you wouldn't be able to use your hands and feet for about 3 days.
Oh wow.
So once you have it once, it's a lifetime thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really want to sentence myself to that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow.
But if I carried on in the UK, amputation was a risk. So I had to move.
Well, lucky for us.
So I had a big leaving party, which was amazing.
Okay, yeah, nice.
And then here I am.
Okay. And so is it purely? Was it the medical reasons, or is it due to the climate?
Yeah,
so
the
what
heat.
were
So the cold obviously affects it, and I was getting severe pain in my body as well, and I still suffer from it all, but can manage it a bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so under about 10 degrees, it's now become quite life-threatening. So I went back to the UK last August, meant to be sunny.
Oh God.
It was horrible.
Terrible.
And in 3 days, I lost like 3 kilos, 4 kilos. I was pale, my eyes, I was in so much pain. And I went into hemolysis, where your red blood cells burst.
Oh,
so
shit.
my body would just attack itself in a random way every time it's cold. And I had to get an emergency flight back. A doctor had to ring the US embassy to tell them how to keep me safe on the plane.
Wow.
I got 3 seats to myself though, which was amazing. And they had to keep bringing me a hot water bottle every hour on the flight,
oh God.
and it was horrific. But And then I came back here and spent 2 days in the sun, and I was fine again.
Wow.
So why? Obviously, there's loads of countries that you get kind of a lot of sun and heat. Spain, Portugal. Why did you choose Malta?
Not gonna lie, I didn't need a visa. English speaking, I had 4 weeks to move, so I didn't really have much choice. And obviously, I'm a Pilates instructor, so I needed somewhere that could understand what I'm saying.
Of course, that's true.
So yeah, that's
fair enough.
why I chose Malta. I've never been here. I thought I was going to Spain, and my dad was like, "You do know you're going to near Italy?" I was like, "No."
Oh wow.
No idea.
Wow. Oh my gosh, okay.
Didn't even know where it was.
At least you weren't flying the plane.
No, I was like, I don't know where I'm going, but fine, as long as it's sunny.
And so, when did this first flare up? When did this first start happening?
Probably about 6 years ago now.
6 years ago, wow, okay.
Yeah,
and it's
like
just gradually.
And then every year it's worse.
Okay. So it's progressively got worse over time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the pain and exhaustion in my body, so we knew something. Well, we still don't know what's wrong.
Right.
So we sent a medical profile out when I got here, and the doctor came through from Iran, actually, research centre, and she's been helping me for about a year, and she is incredible. I've met her in Italy, so she travels the world. She's the most incredible doctor, and she's been helping me a lot.
What's her name?
Dr. Baha.
Dr. Baha.
So medical treatment here is fine, similar to the UK, or?
Here not so much. I got caught up in a few little things we won't go into, but Marta Day's amazing.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
They're incredible, and I couldn't fault them. Yeah.
And you mentioned you're prescribed some sort of steroids. They cause some blood pressure issues. Was that the issue?
The nifedipine did, but now I was put on crazy amount of steroids and antibiotics because they thought I had a blood infection, or I did have a blood infection.
Right.
And I was on. It was crazy dosage of about 4 months of it, and I've just finished it now. So yeah, but the doctors in Malta Day helped with the monitoring. So the doctor from Iran tells them.
Oh really? Wow. Okay.
They do what she's asked, and they send to her what they found.
Oh really? That's quite nice.
It's quite cool, like in a weird way.
A lot more collaborative than you would normally expect.
Yeah, and she doesn't want anything from me. Like, she's just helping.
Oh nice. And so you said you sent your medical profile out. What does that mean?
So like all the symptoms, what's happened, what treatments I've tried, what's
where do you send it?
We just research centres in inflammation, infectious disease, rare disease, and just any centre, America, and then they sent it to other people. So that's how it ended up to around. It ended up kind of being sent around, which was a really nice feeling.
Yeah, I can
like
imagine.
People just trying to help.
That's just one generally help.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so, have you come to a point where it's been treated, or you understand what it is, or
we're getting there?
Where are you on this path?
So we cleared the blood infection and something esophagia I had. So my body's constantly trying to fight whatever's going on. So my white blood cells were too high. They were fighting the good stuff.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's all been fixed.
Oh, really? Okay.
All the symptoms are still pretty bad. So obviously we're like, okay. Pretty certain now, just waiting for loads of tests, that it's hypothalamic dysfunction from the illness before that. So
wow, okay.
Yeah.
So let's delve into that, shall we? So
the
illness
before that was fun.
And this obviously can stem from a young age, right?
Yeah. So diagnosed anorexia nervosa at 16.
16, okay.
Actually self-diagnosed, which is really rare. So I knew something was wrong, and then just one night I just realised what was wrong. Went to the doctors, and they didn't believe me, even though I outright told them. But self-diagnosis isn't a thing in anorexia, really.
Okay.
And my BMI wasn't low enough at 15. So
wow.
I was
so they just put
apparently.
you in a box, basically, and go, no, you don't tick all the.
Yeah, just said I'm fine.
And how so I don't know loads about anorexia. So anorexia nervosa, that's the medical term? Or?
Yeah, so anorexia refers to like body weight. Anorexia nervosa is the fact that it's a mental illness.
Mental illness, okay. So where did this, so going down the mental illness route, so where did this stem? Where did it stem from? Obviously it didn't just happen overnight. I mean, was this,
again,
I don't know, was
like
it something that happened or?
Bit we're not quite sure, because mine was always very different. I was very self-aware. I knew what was going on. I didn't want it to happen.
Yeah, of course.
It was very strange. But we think from when I was quite severely bullied in school.
Okay.
Went on a ski trip and went into hypoxia, panic attack there, so that changed like the neuro pathways in my brain from it, because I nearly died from hypoxia there, so my brain was starved from oxygen.
Hypoxia, so that's just a panic attack where you...
So the brain starved of oxygen for too long.
Right, wow.
So we think it's come from that because it was so different. And then obviously being bullied, and then I lost a lot of weight because I couldn't eat properly, and it all just started spiralling from there, mentally and physically.
Of course, yeah.
So...
Well, this is the thing as well, this type of mental illness has a huge impact on your physical well-being as well, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly, yeah.
So when you went into the doctors at 16 and kind of spoke about what you diagnosed, how, obviously you said they just said you're fine and to go away, so they didn't give you any medication, or, so what happened in the next kind of 2 years following that? Because this is, especially for a teenage girl, a young woman, this is quite kind of key period.
It took a lot to go as well.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I kept ringing, hanging out. So there was turmoil because I knew I couldn't. It was like demons in your head. I can never describe it, but it's literally demons in your head. I knew I couldn't beat them on my own, and my doctor had just told me my BMI wasn't low enough. So what do? I have to lose weight.
Jeez,
to get help. So it was turmoil because obviously my parents knew and they were trying to make me gain weight. I actually didn't want to lose weight, so but in literally a few months I went down to BMI 13, and they finally went, oh my god, and then it was too late because the demons in the head were like too strong.
Yeah, okay. And so can you explain what kind of things you went through? So demons, so give me an example. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, it's literally just like you want to get better. Well, I did. But you can literally got shouting in your head, like a bully in your head.
Okay. Just kind of saying what you're not good enough, or what?
Yeah, and like just I can't describe just when you were eating or gaining weight or anything. It was just the most horrific sensation. I never really knew why, because I could see I was skinny. I hated it. So I still don't understand it. I can't. So, but yeah, I was put in a day hospital then. Okay. So you go like Monday to Friday, 8 till 3.
So what about school and studies? I mean, are you able to
kind of try and study in the hospital?
Okay.
They do let you go do exams, but obviously, I mean, I still did well somehow. Yeah. In a way, you're locked in a lounge all day, so
nothing else to do, I guess.
It kind of makes you probably did better. But it was horrific. I was there twice, 9 months each.
9 month stint each time. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of impact would that have socially as well? I imagine you have.
Yeah.
Which is even worse because you're really in that kind of state where you're kind of self-loathing, or you're not liking yourself. Yeah. And then not being surrounded by any support other than your family, right?
Yeah, it was bad. Wow. Like you're in one small lounge with 12 other patients with eating disorders, so we're all quite. Okay. It's quite a competitive illness as well, weirdly. They're iller than me, and they do that, and they've tried to do that, and it's really a weird, like, if you have cancer and something, and someone's worse, you don't want to be worse.
Of course.
With anorexia, for some reason, you're like, they're skinnier than me, they're more sick than me, I need to be that sick.
Wow.
It's really weird. So you're in 12 of you in one lounge, and all you're doing is waiting to be called for meals, and the meal plan's insane. Like, how much you have to eat is disgusting, actually.
Are they just kind of making you carb loading on calories? Okay.
Yeah, so like breakfast, 100 grams of cereal with 400 millilitres of milk. Okay. Then 2 bits of toast with like jam or anything, and juice and fruit for breakfast.
Wow, okay.
Hour and a half later you have a snack. So that's like biscuits and milk or something, like a child. Hour and a half later you have a main meal and dessert.
Hour and a half later, jeez, okay.
Yeah. Hour and a half later, you have a 4 to 6 build-up shake and a chocolate bar.
Oh my goodness.
Then you go home expected to eat dinner. As a person with anorexia.
Yeah.
In which case I just compulsively exercised and screamed and cried and tantrums, and it was horrendous until you went back the next morning. They treat you like prisoners in a lot of hospitals.
Wow.
It's right. Like, obviously we're fearful of food, and they would bring in random snacks at some point as a snack challenge. So you're in this lounge just almost terrified for that door to open, and they'll just bring in a snack, and you're like, oh my
Wow.
You have to sit there and eat it.
And so you can't just say, I'm not hungry, they're just like, no,
Oh
you're eating
God,
it.
no, because then it's, well, especially in the inpatients, which is more horrific. That one was 10 that day hospital.
Yeah.
You're then threatened with fortisip if you don't eat, which is a build-up shake, so they weigh out the amount of food you left, put it into fortisip, you wait to get cooled to drink that with everyone else. Well, they left that. If you don't drink that, you're put on a tube feeding, and they put it down a tube.
Oh shit.
So you don't really have a choice.
Terrible. Wow.
I wonder if that's changed. I mean, if people are still going through that same medical
Yeah,
treatment. Oh,
most.
makes me so sad.
Yeah.
What impact did it have on your parents? Because I imagine they felt quite helpless. I would imagine.
Yeah,
or
pretty bad. Yeah, I'm gonna get them to help and do some stuff on this, because actually people don't think. I'm glad you said that. People don't think about that. They're just watching that happen, and they can't do anything. If they're supporting you, they're doing wrong. If they say everything they say is wrong, obviously, I was so lucky. Like they stood by me and wouldn't let the doctors do this to me. They were stuck by me all the time and believed me, which I couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah.
The first admission actually was like inpatient, so the day hospital didn't work. Like you're going home on your own the weekends, you know, it was horrendous. It was bad treatment. And also like if you lost weight there twice, you got sent on timeout, so you would go home for a week because you weren't committed. And I was like, hang on, does that not mean that it's stronger in my head and I need you more?
Yeah, of course.
And you're on timeout for a week. You're like, what? Jesus. That doesn't make sense. So that treatment didn't work. And then we tried to get into an inpatient unit, and getting a bed is a nightmare. So I was like, really bad. So mum and dad were like, we've got to do something. And they found somewhere called Newmarket House in Norwich.
Okay.
So it's 4 hours from home, and it's private, and you couldn't get funding for it at this point. So they paid for it, 6 weeks, 30 grand, which I found out yesterday when I was making notes for this, and that was a shock. And obviously 6 weeks, amazing place, amazing place, unbelievable. Where I met my friend Alice, which we can go into a little bit later maybe for the second admission. But yes, obviously I did amazing there, worked so hard knowing, I knew mum and dad were paying, but I didn't know that much.
So you mentioned about funding, so it wasn't available then. Is that something that is available? Can you get funding for these types of things?
So
Because
now
30 grand is a lot of money.
Like you had to wait for a bed near you.
Okay.
But now you can go anywhere.
Oh really?
So now wherever a bed is available, you can go.
Okay.
With funding, which was my second admission.
Sure. Okay.
To Newmarket. Okay. Luckily.
So talking about the first admission though, so how is it different? How's it different from what you'd experienced?
So it's like a house that someone set up where her son had suffered anorexia and recovered in America, and in this type of thing, she set it up in Norwich, and the staff were like supportive. They would sit with you, they wouldn't treat you like a prisoner, they would hold your hand, they would hug you, they would play games with you, they would support you. It's
almost like a health hostel.
And like you could then made better friends, you were all in it together.
So less competitive.
Less competitive, and just worked my ass off in there.
So
groups
by working your ass off, so what did you have to do? What kind of things?
Just like using the support, so don't hide away.
I see.
If I was being tormented in my head, I would go find someone and tell them what was going on in my head all the time, and go into all the groups with all of my try and not hide
everything open.
Obviously trying to eat the meal plan as best I can and things like that. So I was like the A-star pupil, did really, really well. But once I came out, 6 weeks.
It's not.
I'm assuming they had psychologists in the hospital and in the centre, right?
Yeah. So in this hospital was specific to anorexia. The Priory, you just got a random therapist who just doesn't specialise in it or anything.
Yeah.
Was available kind of thing.
Right.
And went through, seemed like tick box. Whereas this one was support staff and worked with you.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. Good place.
It's money.
It's expensive.
That's the issue, isn't it? Not many people have access to that much money to get to places like this. So. But after the 6 weeks, obviously you left. How did you feel at this point?
Amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But then I was relapsing, didn't want to. But that's when we realised there's got to be something in my head because I don't want to relapse. I feel amazing. Why am I relapsing?
Yeah. Okay.
And I felt powerless. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't stop this. I
Wow.
literally can't stop this happening. Obviously, my parents are angry at me.
Mhm.
Not understanding because to some people it's like just eat. Like,
Yeah, of
but
course.
it's mental.
Trauma, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just about, but you're skinny, eat.
Yeah.
Why would you just eat? Like.
Well, this is the, to the the ignorant individual, or the person doesn't really know, then that's all they think is why you're just not eating. So
Yeah.
I think that's
And I can see that.
yeah, but that's not what's going on.
Yeah. So yeah, tried college, tried to get like a life again, but just relapsed bad. It's kind of like my condition now, worsened every time until.
And do you just go inward then at that point? You just feel
like powerless.
You become more withdrawn.
Yeah. Well, I was really lucky again. I had some really good friends around me,
Okay.
and they still are my best friends today.
Oh, nice.
They stuck by me the whole way. So again, with my family and my friends, I was very lucky.
Yeah.
But I saw it happen a lot with others.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah. Who weren't. So I almost felt guilty. I was like, oh my god, I wish you had this support. The difference is amazing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so then I got admitted again. Only this time, my BMI was about 11, so I was like 38 kilos, which is 28. Yeah, because I'm 40 kilos now, so I was 12 kilos less than now.
28 kilos.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went in with like my head down because I was just like, I felt embarrassed. I looked like an alien. Like some of the photos, it's like kind of like monkey face.
Yeah.
And like old.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that was bad. But then I was there a year. In Newmarket.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
In Newmarket
that's
for a whole
Monday to
year.
Sunday, yeah.
Okay, wow.
So that's inpatient.
Yeah.
You start getting home leave, but I was 4 hours away, so I couldn't get that much. But it was amazing, and again worked really hard. Same sort of thing. Was lucky to have got a year, but obviously it was way more traumatic because the lower your weight, the stronger the demons in your head.
Really?
For anorexia anyway.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah.
And so a whole year, so
I remember the tantrums. I was telling my boyfriend yesterday about one. Look, I don't know why I remember it so much over like eating a cheesy potato cake.
okay.
And I had the most almighty tantrum. Like it was horrendous. I was just like, really. So.
And so a year is a long time in a place like that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So how did you? Obviously, you had a good support network there as well in the staff. But what about individuals? You must have obviously there was other individuals going through the same scenario you were going through. Did you see improvements in other people, or did you kind of other people help you? Or,
yeah, we all kind of helped each other. I'm still friends with some of them.
Okay.
I made a really good friend, Alice, and we used to like mess about there when we were getting better as well, especially like. We would dress up at Halloween and went out on roller skates trick-or-treating.
Oh, nice, okay.
We got in so much trouble. So much trouble.
Were you not, so was it kind of like lockdown on these grounds? Were you not allowed out?
No.
Oh, really?
Like
okay.
admission, signed out.
Oh, really?
And
okay.
stuff like that, yeah. The third admission was even worse, but this one was kind of free.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to run out. I used to find, I knew when the staff were in the kitchen to prepare a snack. So I'd sit by the tree reading.
Yeah.
Oh, that, you can't see that. And then we'd do a quick run around and then come back and knew exactly how long. You get very clever.
Okay, nice.
You get very clever.
So it still does feel a bit like an open prison.
It lives,
Even though they're very nice in there, but you're still kind of...
You become you're like a child because you're being taken care of. You're told when to eat, you're told when to sleep, you're told when... Like we literally had a bedtime, a wake up time, meal time.
Wow.
You know, so group time. But yeah, me and Alice and we played like hide and seek. I remember one, she was on the top of the cupboard and I got in the tumble dryer. So, you know, play hide and seek with anorexics is great because we can fit anywhere.
Of course.
So that was kind of fun. Played pranks on like the staff, dancing, like just making the most of it. And when we were better, we were allowed to go play badminton.
Oh, really? Okay.
And when we were even better and couldn't even be asked to exercise anymore, we would just go like for coffee and cake. And just, they were like, how was badminton? We're like, yeah, really good, yeah. Went out for like drinks one day.
Oh really? Okay.
Cocktails,
Oh really?
which again, you get in a lot of trouble for, but yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Nice. And is it all, so the types of treatment they give you, is it all kind of more psychological therapy, or is there...
You had art therapy.
Okay.
We'd do out and about, so you'd go like clothes shopping.
Oh, okay.
You'd have your one therapist who would work on things with you. So if it was, for me, I didn't and still find it hard to buy myself stuff, like don't deserve it kind of thing. So she would take me out and make me buy something for myself.
Yeah. So that gives you a sense of, I quite like shopping, but for like buying clothes and stuff, because you get the little buzz from it.
Yeah, I get it a bit more now. I went shopping a couple of weeks ago, probably for the first time in a few years.
Oh wow, okay.
But I still get the guilt.
I see, okay.
Some people will get a dopamine rush and some people won't.
Yeah, wow. So they work on individuals. So what you struggle with.
Yeah, of course, which is good, which is how it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
And you wouldn't be prescribed any drugs or anything? Like
no.
It's all more
you would be if you needed it.
Okay.
But you wouldn't be put on them.
Okay.
They kind of went away from that.
Nice, okay. That's quite a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay,
nice. They had like a chef as well.
Oh really?
So
okay.
like an in-house, I got on with her really well because I really appreciate food and I still loved it.
Yeah.
So loved good food, and she'd be like, "What do you want today? What do you want today?" And we got on really well. So that was nice.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, after the year, then you felt. I mean, being in there for a year, I'd imagine you were like probably looking forward to going home or getting back to.
Yeah. They would like when you left, you all went into the garden with balloons and let balloons go.
Oh, nice.
Say goodbye and like lots of stuff like that. So. Yeah, it was amazing. Got through some real tough times there, and then was all better again. We thought.
And then?
And then I relapsed.
After how long a period?
Probably over the year again.
Okay.
So not that long, but.
And how could you identify the fact you were relapsing? Were there any triggers, or is it just
your mood, especially, and if you start becoming deceptive and lying, and maybe more exercise, but you kind of knew because there is a voice in your head. I knew. Like,
okay,
if
so
you
still
hear it,
there. Okay, wow.
Then you're like,
Shit, okay, it's still around.
Yeah. So you're trying to fight it again.
Yeah, okay.
Lost the fight. So then ended up in the Priory. Because it was
the Priory in the Priory.
The Priory.
Yeah,
that was a bundle of fun.
Oh man, wow. Because there's a whole mixed bag of people in there, I'm sure.
There is, yeah. So that one was quite an urgent one, but we were waiting for a bed, and it was like Newmarket before, you're waiting for a phone call for them to say a bed is available, so you're getting worse, and every day we would just sit there, my mum and dad would just hold my hand, get me through the day. I can't even comprehend those times anymore or ever explain it. It was torment though. Yeah. And then we finally got this call that the bed was available, and at this point we actually didn't care where I was going. Like it was just like so bad now. Third time, for God's sake. Well, fifth really if you say day hospital.
Of course, yeah.
And then so we're halfway up finally, my sister came with me and everything, my boyfriend at the time came. Got halfway up and they rang and said it's not available anymore.
Oh shit.
So we were halfway up and we were like, you joking? I was literally in the back of the car, like I was so bad I could barely move, and like just before the Priory as well, like it was so bad that my parents would check on me every hour in the night, and my mum would get to the point where she would only let my dad check on me because she was like, she's gonna die.
Wow.
So it was so bad.
Well, I imagine, was there a point then where you were just thinking in yourself, like you don't know whether this is something you can continue doing, or
definitely.
Where you start thinking, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Yeah,
there was one night I wasn't gonna say about it, but I will anyway. I literally felt my body like going, I was like, I'm dying. I am actually dying. And went into my mum and dad's bed, and I think they knew the same, and they just cuddled me, kind of thing. But I survived somehow. Like we literally all thought she was, this is it, kind of thing. So I was just in their bed in the middle, just cuddling until I went. But somehow I woke up. So that was just before, and then obviously I was like, mate, I'm this bad and I can't get better. And then after the Priory rang halfway and said, no, the bed's not available anymore. went home, and obviously I'd gone, oh thank God, like kind of given up the fight 'cause someone else was about to take the fight for me.
Yeah.
So when we got home, I said, I'm going out, like I can't cope, I'm going out for a walk.
Yeah.
I think I said, oh, we need to get bread for something to eat.
Yeah.
Knew what I was going to do, and I went and took quite a lethal, serious overdose because I just couldn't get the fight anymore. And then my mum obviously rang me. She was like, where are you? She's a paramedic, and she could tell from my reaction, and she knew what had happened. She came out to find me, took me to the doctor straight away. They obviously called an ambulance straight away, and then you have to drink this like charcoal to get the poison out.
Oh really? Oh wow! So it makes you like throw up?
No, it literally just neutralises it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's like pure charcoal drink.
Wow.
But I wouldn't drink it. Like, I was in the back of the ambulance, and I was like, I'm not drinking it. And they were like, you will. I remember them saying, if you don't drink this, you'll die. And I said, I want to. And my mum was there, and then my mum. Yeah, I can't even comprehend it still. It's like I'm talking about someone else. But my mum sat there, and I don't know what she said. I can't remember. But she got me to drink most of it. And they did say later if I didn't drink that, I wouldn't have survived. Yeah. So my mum literally saved my life that day. And then I was just like on IVs and stuff, like in hospital for about a week. And they said I could not leave that hospital till I went to the Priory. Okay. So it kind of got me there.
Wow.
But
this is fascinating.
Yeah, it was intense. Literally put on bed rest, I couldn't move, so they got one of those moving mattresses, you know, to stop getting like bed sores and
of
stuff.
course, yeah, that was really good, those things.
Yeah, so they looked after me really well there from New Park. So, and yeah, obviously my parents could have turned their back, and they just didn't.
And what's it like at the Priory?
It's hell.
I don't think I've ever met anyone that's been at the Priory. Obviously, you know, you have a lot of celebrities and everything else, you know, they talk about it, but what's it like when you go in? Is it like some big palace? Or?
It is, yeah, really? It's huge. It's like a castle.
May I ask, what is the Priory?
It's like a mental health hospital.
Yeah. I think it's an English term.
It's cool. It's one place it's in Richmond, right?
This one's Roehampton. It's actually a chain now.
Ah, okay.
For mental health.
So in the UK, it's a chain, is it?
Kind of.
I thought it was just one place. I may be wrong. I don't know.
I think so.
It's the one in Roehampton next to Richmond Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's just the one.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Again,
it is the one where the celebs go, because one night my ceiling fell in, so I had to move rooms, and the only room was available in the celebrity ward.
Oh, nice.
But I wasn't allowed to obviously know who was there, so at 7 a.m. they would come collect me. Yeah. Before I could see. So
you weren't bunking up with Robbie Williams, or
right?
Like
you can tell us afterwards.
It was the same like ward as Ant, is it? Who was?
Oh, Ant and Dec.
I was like, yes. Claim to fame.
They both live in Chiswick. I used to live in Chiswick, just down the road.
So I was like, what if it was like the same room?
You were like, I know you're going through something. Can you just sign this?
Yeah, literally.
Okay, so anyway, so you're saying obviously you painted the picture nice, but you went to the celebrity ward, but
yeah, that was fun.
I'm sure once you're over the gloss and think it's cool, getting back to the hard reality.
So ill that I didn't really give a shit. Like,
of course.
So I was inside. You have like 10 buzzers, I remember, to get into the ward. Like it's facial recognition, buzzer to get through the door. Really? So wow. I was like, okay, I really am locked in. I can't do my little tree run around anymore.
Wow. And how long ago was this?
I think it was literally only about 3 or 4 years ago. Like it's not even that long.
Okay.
I think I get lost on like what was when super. Yeah, about 3.
3, okay.
It's not that long.
Yeah.
I was inside for 4 months because I was so sick. Like I was just on the sofa and then moved like a few steps to eat and then back to the sofa.
Wow.
And that was it. Your room's locked. Didn't get fresh air for 4 months because they only have the windows open like a tiny bit in case you try to jump out. So literally. And then when I was finally allowed air, it was a walk around the car park in a wheelchair for 10 minutes once a day, and then you could move up to twice a day. Wow. Then you could move up to actually walking it yourself around the car park twice, literally.
Did you feel isolated there though? Because or did you get to interact with other people? Because everyone's going through their own shit.
Have your own ward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there is a ward with other people at least.
People. So I was on obviously the eating disorder ward.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you are kind of
There's the
groups.
different
Okay.
ones, but you do hear and see everything else. The emergency alarm's constantly going off.
Right. Wow.
Like, this has happened, that's happened. All
Yeah.
staff or wards run.
Yeah.
I had that once. I was quite proud. I did a runner.
And how different does it feel to being on just a general hospital ward, or is it very similar?
No, it's very different.
Okay.
You see a lot that you don't forget. Like, I'm still working through post-traumatic stress from it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually visiting the Priory again next month to try and face up to it, because it was so, they're very power crazy there. So obviously if you're not sectioned, all they're doing is threatening section, and then that's where it was like the fortisip threat and then the tube feeding threat.
Oh shit.
It was just constant like that, and if you stood up or walked, you had a fortisip punishment. So if you stood up for too long, they would count how many minutes you were standing up and then give you fortisip, how many calories you had burnt.
So fortisip
It's like a build-up shake.
Oh, see, okay,
Like
there's
a
another
milkshake,
thing
build-up
before.
shake.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like used as a punishment.
Wow, okay.
So
that's just to make sure you're conforming, right? So it's a bit of a...
Yeah, it's very categorised and things like that.
Okay. That just feels like what you'd see in the movies, like a general kind of mental health hospital.
This could be a movie.
Yeah, literally, I can remember so many things and what I saw. And when you got to eat downstairs in the main dining room, you get escorted down. We're put behind a screen, the anorexics, because obviously we're crying over food and we don't want to ruin the glorious atmosphere of the nice dinner. But you get to see some other people.
Yeah, okay.
You weren't allowed like caffeine. I don't know how I did that. I didn't. I kept sneaking things in actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Caffeine is an appetite suppressant, technically. I think that's why.
Yeah, but then I'm like, well, if I'm eating, I don't know why I wasn't. It's known as a drug, though, isn't it? Because you've obviously got the drug ward, alcoholic.
Yeah, of course.
So everything's just taken out.
Everything's on lockdown. Yeah.
So no chance of any magic mushrooms over there?
No.
See, that would help.
But at the end, I remember going, Joe, like it was the top of the ward, just like, come see this. I opened my safe full of caffeine, chocolate, like literally so much like contraband, and he was like, Rachael Hollwey, and I was just laughing so much. It was so funny, because obviously at the end you were a lot better, so I was just sneaking stuff in, and there was one night when I got so drunk, and then I was breathalyzed when I got back in, and then every time I was on leave, because you still were signed out as you were better, I had to come back and get breathalyzed.
Oh god.
So funny.
It's the Irish girl. It's the Irish girl.
It's in my nature, it's in my genetics.
It is.
Tradition, right?
Promises coffee.
Yeah, literally.
It was an Irish coffee.
Yeah, so funny. But yes.
So you said you're in there for another 6 months stint, was it?
A year.
A year in Priory. Wow.
Possibly just over a year.
Jeez. Okay. And how?
First 4 months I wasn't allowed out at all. So
Okay.
then I had to go and leave and do this.
And how? Excuse my ignorance, but how is this paid? Like, do you pay for it, or is it?
No, that's funded.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you go about getting funding for these type of things?
You go through the doctor's referrals now.
Okay.
And then you wait for the call for the bed.
I see. Okay, fair enough.
So, but they very much go on BMI, I think.
Right, I see.
So.
Which isn't necessarily a good indicator anyway.
No.
I'm obese with my BMI right now.
My
You
sister
are.
is. She's an MMA fighter, and she's tiny, and she's obese.
Yeah. She's an MMA fighter. All right.
She is.
Another conversation.
She's over on Thursday.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She did karate and got bored at third dan, so she's an MMA cage fighter.
I'm down for that.
Yep. I just read that there was one thing of MMA, must have got it from her, when there was one time where I completely trashed the Priory, and I'm really proud of it. And the bin was there that I literally picked it up and like threw it. My dad had come to visit, and obviously I'm really tame, like kind of innocent, sweet little girl. And even my dad, I remember looking at the corridor and he was just standing there like, oh my god, what's happened? And I trashed the whole place. It was great. And then they kept that bin, and mum and dad constantly like, bin's still there then? And I'm like, yeah. And that's because I didn't finish my dinner, so they wouldn't let me go on the car park walk.
So no elbow smashes to the nurses.
Absolutely. It was great. And then when I ran away, I had to get, which I think they should have videoed. They put the emergency button, and obviously tiny, really underweight, took 5 people to restrain me.
Whoa.
And they didn't get me until I was just outside. So there was these 5 people restraining me underneath the Priory sign.
Oh wow!
Like, this should be an advert. But then I was put on something called 1-to-1.
Okay.
Where you've got someone literally in arm's reach of you, 24/7. Shower, toilet, sleeping, eating,
So
walking.
Just to make sure you can't. Okay.
For like a week.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you go crazy.
I can imagine.
You literally just go away.
Yeah, it's not normal.
No.
And also, maybe that's an indicator about the kind of mental illness side of things, because you can see in some people that are severely mentally ill, they've got this power that just comes from nowhere. Although they can't be restrained by that many people.
No. I mean, I was probably only still 30 kilos at this point.
And it's just
5 people were just so strong.
Yeah. And it's
so
almost the kind of like the power of these demons that are inside you, right? It's unbelievable when you see it sometimes.
Yeah, I really wish I had a photo of it though. Yeah. Outside the Priory sign.
Someday, we're
You're going back in a couple of months.
That's true. But me and Dad did a palace to palace bike ride as well a few years or 2 ago, and we went past the Priory on it. So we got a photo of me on a bike, healthy, underneath the Priory sign, nice. Which was awesome.
Yeah, sticking up your middle finger.
Yeah, people were just looking at us like, what the hell? You don't understand.
And then so when you obviously left this time, what had changed? Okay, oh really? Okay.
So you would queue for your meds, and you'd have to queue up morning and night, get them put in your hand. I mean, you know what you're giving, but don't know. Had the whole swallow, check your mouth and everything, kind of thing. So that was quite. I got put on a medication which I still have to take now. I have to come off so slow because it's so horrific to come off, and I never should have. Amitriptyline.
Amitriptyline, okay.
It's like a nerve relaxant, kind of makes you like a zombie. So yeah, and
so it's just like a Vicodin kind of type of thing, I think maybe.
Whenever I tell doctors about it, like, oh, you come off that yourself, and I'm like, yeah, very slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So it just kind of numbs everything.
Okay.
Is that tough with Pilates?
Not now, I'm on a very low dose now.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it's fine. But I accidentally took it once. I normally take it just before bed, and I took the wrong one, and I had to do a session. It was quite fun. I was just getting really tired.
Dribbling.
Yeah. And I had a fire on, so I was like, oh gosh. So, yeah.
Okay, so then, so obviously you then left with a shit ton of medication to take, and that's just basically just dumbing everything down.
Yeah.
Which isn't, again, it's just treating the symptoms, not it's not finding the cause.
Yeah, they did groups, but I think they were by like the book.
Okay.
Kind of thing. It was very BMI related, weight related.
Yeah.
Not individual. Like, what do you struggle with and why?
Of course, yeah. So. Okay. So what happened next?
I left the Priory all well.
Okay.
All lovely and healthy again.
Yeah.
And then I started relapsing again. And we were literally like, because I was going seriously saying to mum and dad, and my doctors would be like, she does it on purpose. The doctors would just be like, waiting for you to have to go to hospital again. Right. Me and my parents were like, no. And my dad's friend actually had a clip on the radio about this new study called TMS treatment. There was a brand new study, transcranial magnetic stimulation.
Oh, that's the other one. Okay, nice. Okay.
Okay. So he had a clip, told Dad. Dad looked into it. It was being used, but it was the first study to be used specifically for anorexia. And Dad told me. I emailed within minutes. They emailed back within minutes and said, come straight away. You are a perfect candidate. So I went through all the procedures, perfect candidate, and was then on a study in King's College in London. So they're basically 2 groups, sham and real. You have this magnet on your head, and they're pulsing and stimulating a part of your brain to change the neural pathways, which we had always said was the problem.
Yep.
So we were like, it's the last resort. I'm going to end up in hospital again otherwise anyway. So
I'm looking at this.
This
as well.
is really interesting.
I'm just having a look.
I've got the study or the paper right up.
Transcranial magnetic stimulation. Wow.
It's used for quite a lot now, but still not eating disorders. So it's a different part of the brain. So I'm 1 in 16 in the world that had it. on this part of the brain.
Mhm.
And obviously we didn't know real or sham. Had to travel every day to King's, had 20 minutes treatment. We had like 3 hours worth of MRIs as well, which was
Does it hurt?
hell. Well, interestingly, it says pain-free. Everyone pain-free.
Mm-hmm.
Me, agony.
Really? Wow.
And then since then, all the flare-up of my illness that I said about the
Mm.
pain. So I would ring mum and dad before, like crying, because I was like, oh my god, I can't take this, because they pulse it for just 5 seconds, and then you have 55-second rest, then pulse for 5 seconds, then 50 for 20 minutes. And the way they find the muscle that they need to stimulate, they stimulate part of your brain, they've got electrodes on you, and when your thumb twitches, they've got the right part of your brain.
Wow.
And then they stimulate, and you see your brain on the screen.
Oh God.
It's a bit crazy. So every day I'd have to get like 3 trains just for 20 minutes of this.
And what would it feel? So you say you're in agony. So does it just feel like someone's
It was like
digging something into your brain and your
it
head?
was so like sharp. The pulses were so sharp, and I felt so much pain, and you're not meant to.
Okay.
So I didn't know, and I was like, I better be on the real one if I'm going through this.
Yeah, of course.
But it got really bad. Like then I was getting into quite bad depression because I was literally, I remember it was quite all fun and cool, like I'm gonna study.
Yeah.
Halfway through I was like, I'm getting 3 trains up to be tied to electrodes, to have my brain stimulated. I went, how is my life become this?
Yeah, God.
So I became really depressed, and basically then made it was quite scary, because when I took the overdose before, it was like desperation, cry for help. And then this time I wanted to end my life because I'd had enough.
Yeah.
So I made quite in-depth plans, and I said to myself, I'll finish the trial because I want to help others.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'm going.
Right.
So I've had 5 weeks over the trial to plan basically for that, and I felt really calm, and that's the scary part. It wasn't like a cry for help, it wasn't adrenaline.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to let anyone that stopped to it.
Yeah.
It was real tough. Like every time I got the trains, I had to listen to really loud music. It's actually the James Arthur album.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like Back on the Edge, because his is all about drug rehab. But I could like listen to the words really loud to basically stop me jumping in front of a train every time. So, and I can't even tell you the pull to just do it. And I literally, every train at station, I had to walk away. And now if a train goes past me fast, luckily I'm in Malta with no trains now. It gives me a flashback, and I can't. If a train goes past fast, it. Yeah.
There's still a lot of this trauma inside you, I'd imagine.
Yeah. So I went through all the TMS, and then obviously came to the day, and I was like in my flat, and I was like, okay. So I'd written letters and everything, and then I tried to go out my 2nd-story flat in the winter, and this like bumblebee started buzzing all around me, like around the door, and I was like, what the hell? Like this was 3 months after. I think it was like 3 months after the trial actually, because I had to go for MRIs and everything. And my grandma Farm Island used to say bumblebees from spiderwebs and like let them fly away. And we used to always tell people about that. Like that's how we knew my grandma had said like she helps things that other people are scared of, kind of thing.
Okay, nice,
And for some reason, I don't know why, and I don't care why, because it saved my life, my head snapped into, no, I don't have to do this. And I swear down, like from that day on, I've got into full recovery. Turns out I was on the real trial as well. So I think that snap was the snap of my head, like the neurotransmitters as well. So I still left my flat, but I went to the tattoo place and got a bumblebee tattoo on my arm.
Nice.
And I wanted it so I could see it all the time.
Sometimes there are things in life that are like that just kind of everything else drops away, and then it kind of makes you kind of
I can never explain
highlight something,
just
and you're like,
snap,
okay.
and that was it. And then I went and got a lot of wine to go to my parents' house, and I just said to my parents, I need to come over. Had the wine and stuff. They're like, what's the occasion? I was like, I think you need to sit down. And we sat down together, and I read them the letters that I'd written them and told them everything.
Must have been pretty emotional.
It was pretty tough. But I felt like I needed to for the closure. So it's pretty emotional. But again, all I got was hugs and obviously crying, but we were hugging each other. And then they weren't like on me like I was going to do it again.
Yeah.
They knew I was alright.
Yeah.
And then since then I've got stronger and stronger and hit a full recovery. So it's mad, but.
And now the bumblebee. So you know, when you have your down days, because I'm sure it does happen, is that something you still can look at and go?
Yeah, I went on a walk the other day, just feeling, because I'm a bit fed up of now this illness. It's frustrating because this one I don't have any control over either. No one knows anorexia, at least, you know, people kind of knew what it was. And I went on a walk just feeling quite down, and then there was like these yellow flowers and just one bumblebee on it, and again it just snapped my head again, and I was like, no, it's going to be okay. So just that little symbol.
Which is good. And something we've discussed before actually is about you having to, and is this linked maybe to the current disease you have, where you're trying to work out what it is?
Yeah. About
you having to take on like 2,500 to 3,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
Because you're just burning it off naturally.
Yeah, and obviously my body temperature.
Yeah.
In the cold weather, so TMS stimulated my brain, and also main cause can be anorexia of hypothalamic dysfunction.
Okay.
Which completely makes sense to me. So I'm on research route of that in a moment.
Okay.
But it literally says caused by anorexia or autoimmune diseases, which we've possibly had diagnosed, and infection, which I had a blood infection.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me.
Yes.
And it happened after TMS. So to me it feels a bit black and white, but we'll see.
So what a crazy 12 years to start.
I have to eat so much as well, which is so ironic. And I can't stop eating actually. Like the way I know full recovery is weird. Like we can't connect with it. Mum and Dad know I'm healthy.
Yeah.
But now I just don't stop eating, and people have to be like, Rachel, stop eating the bread. And I'm like, oh, and my mum and dad did that when they came to Malta last year, and we were waiting for dinner, and my dad went, stop eating the bread, and took it away. I went, whoa, that was weird. So I
mean, his Maltese bread is incredible.
I know, right?
So
like,
same
like,
this morning.
If you need to recover from anorexia, come to Malta. Like, seriously.
Is there specific foods that you opt for, or specific foods that you can't eat, or?
I eat everything.
Everything.
Everyone's like, you're like Pilates and really small, you must be vegan. And I'm like, I'm going home to steak tonight. Like,
you can show them this podcast now.
Yeah, right. But I need so much protein, and I put posts up of food on my Instagram because I actually probably couldn't be vegan. Like, I need so much protein.
No, yeah.
Do you eat much hemp? Because hemp seeds are really high in...
I did try CBD oil once.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the hemp seeds themselves are really high, really rich in protein.
Yeah.
One of the highest
I have looked
protein.
into it, yeah. To be honest, when I was on so much steroids and antibiotics, I didn't want to invest in it all because I thought it was no point. My body's being destroyed anyway.
Exactly,
yeah.
But now I'm off those. I'm going full on like health food. I don't care about how expensive it is because you can't put a price on health after all. So.
It doesn't have to be expensive anymore either. I think if you shop in the right places.
Yeah, and I cook everything meal prep, like everything from scratch. So I have everything ready, and I have to eat every 2 hours basically. So after here, I will be going to get something to eat. But yeah.
Oh, sorry, should have brought some snacks.
I know, right? Like not coffee, but with a biscuit.
So, and now this is amazing. Obviously, now you've, despite all this, sort of a world of trauma and challenges and just everything you've been through. Now you've come to Malta. I don't know if you set this up before, but you tell us about your company. So Reach 100. So
Reach
what is it?
100 is Pilates, but I like to think of it quite different. I trained in London for 2 years.
Yep.
Specialised in loads of areas: orthopaedics, small equipment, pre-postnatal.
Yep.
Really, really good course. And just passed. Set up Reach 100. Started teaching in studios. Got told I had to leave, so I was like, oh mate, really?
Oh, okay,
to come here.
Yeah, of course.
So I was like, okay, I'm not giving it up. I've just worked so hard. I love it.
Yeah.
So I thought I'll set it up here. Wasn't as easy as I expected. Like, it was really tough. Really, really tough. I had nothing. Started walking, like I was walking about 28,000 steps a day to get to places, to try classes, to try and promote.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd have to like debate either a coffee or the bus because I couldn't afford the 150 coffee, 150 bus. So I'd debate with myself which one to go for, and then just started building. It was coffee. Coffee and walk, to be honest. So and just didn't really give up. So I started like one client was walking hours with a coffee, And then it just started building, and then I got an e-bike and started cycling around the island in the summer, which was awesome. Yeah. Then I got a little bag on the back because I needed equipment. I was like, oh my god, this is huge now. Then I had to get a hire car. Now I have my little car from the UK.
Okay, nice.
And I go house to house, and because I never want to categorise people like I was categorised. So I love the individualised. So if I do private, and if I've trained in all the areas, I can design programs for them. Studios will just be me doing a class over and over. So that's why I wanted to go like the private route.
Yeah, of course. And it's something we've been thinking about as well, just helping practitioners more as an individual or as a small business rather than...
It's just so good for you.
Yeah, exactly. Just give if we can empower practitioners to be able to do it themselves rather than having to rely on a studio or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's
I always give exercises for them to do at home and photos and videos, and people are like, you should charge for that, and I said, no, I'm actually in this to help people. Like, Pilates is the only thing I was allowed to continue doing. I was actually training for professional tennis and I had to give it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow,
so,
okay.
Very sporty family tennis.
I was to say, an MMA fighter and a professional tennis.
Yeah.
We'll mention the middle sister I'll get told off, but she doesn't do any sport. She's got a baby though, so she does that. She's that bit. But yeah, I just give up sport. But Pilates is so good for you, and you can make it really, really strong. You can make it chilled. You can make it for any condition.
So again, for the ignorant person, say myself, how and we've had this conversation before, but how different is Pilates from yoga? Because a lot of people mix them up.
There's a mat, and that's about it.
Oh, okay.
So Pilates is like strength based. Actually came from the war. So Joseph Pilates was in the war from Germany. Had like rickets, asthma, rheumatoid fever. Rheumatic fever, I don't know how to say that, and developed all these exercises to stay really strong, and started teaching like the soldiers with it, and that's why I Reach 100, because the 100's the iconic and very first exercise, and when he nailed like the top thing of the 100, top level, he was cured or was given clear from all these diseases.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, wanted it. When I came up with Reach 100, I knew, you know, you get that gut instinct.
Yeah, okay.
So then I was like, well, it could be Reach 100%, you could be Reach 100 age. Again, it's versatile, and that's what I'm all about. Like, nothing's fixed. No one's the same, nothing's the same. Yeah. So that's all, that's why it's all that. So
that's amazing. And how, so obviously you've been through this amazing journey, really, of up and down, up and down, up and down. But where are you now? Like, you're still going through some kind of, you've got some symptoms, but
well, last week I ended up in Mater Dei on IVs because I was in horrific pain.
Okay.
But I said, like, I would take this pain and the tiredness, I have to make sure I can have a rest in the day all the time. I would take this any day. Yeah. Like, compared to the mental trauma and being locked up, like, I can go out and walk in the sun if I want to. I'm not locked in, so I don't think anything can faze me anymore. And I do a lot for charity now, so mental health charity. So for sure, I've got to mention my friend Alice, who I said about in the hospital. She didn't win the fight, so she passed away 5 years ago. We're the same age, so she was 23. I got a tattoo for her as well. So we were going to go to Disneyland on our 25th because her birthday is a week before mine. So we were going to go to Disneyland for the 25th because Disneyland Paris opened the year we were born. So it was the 25th anniversary.
Really? Oh, wow.
And she died obviously before that. But my friends still took me for my 25th. And it was incredible. So we went for her and I got Beauty-Lies Within tattoo on my hip for her. But I still help her mum out, and she shouldn't have died. She died in hospital. It's under investigation still, so not really allowed to say much about it. But that keeps me going because
for sure,
she's she'll look over me, and I was lucky. So I do a lot for mental health awareness because it shouldn't have happened. Like, she should still be here. She was so fun, laughing. It shouldn't have happened. So. And
so you mentioned some charities. So are there any charities to call out that you kind of that provide research or provide more awareness that people can go and read up on?
So the Richmond Foundation are really good for mental health, but I did only just find out they don't treat eating disorders. So actually in Malta, there's only one. So I raised money for them in November. We raised €500, which is great because they are amazing. Like they help a lot of mental health illnesses, businesses. They're incredible. Then before that, there's an eating disorder unit. I can't say it for the life of me, but people from Malta will know it. And raised a couple of €100 for them as well before that.
Okay, amazing.
But that's all they have for eating disorders. They don't know it here at all.
Okay.
So I'm actually on a bit of a mission of raising that awareness. My parents are over next week, so they're going to talk about what it was like for them. I'm going to do an event in July, and all about awareness, even if it's not raising money, like the awareness of it.
Well, that's the key thing, isn't it? And from a parent's point of view, are there any kind of tips you could? How can someone spot this? That maybe the individual going through it might not be aware that it's happening to them.
I think the social isolations are key.
Okay.
So anorexia is just mental illness. So when you're starting to withdraw, that might go to depression, that might go to drugs, that might go to alcohol, might go to anorexia. They're all the same.
Yeah.
It's what's happened to the person.
Yeah.
So if they're changing character, ask them, are they okay?
Yeah.
They say yes, ask them again.
Yeah.
Say, don't push it. So I would say, like, maybe write to me. Say, like, I'm here. Whenever you want to talk, I'm here. That will be a seed in their head. And they will know, they will remember that at the time. And eventually they will go to you. Say, you can write me a letter. Why don't you write it, put it in your bag, and then when you feel strong enough, give it to me. Something like that. So not pushy, but to keep saying that.
To me, it seems like you really did this with your family. You know, like they helped you immensely. They were probably the top pillar.
Yeah,
you know?
I wouldn't be here without them today, and they still support me. We were messaging yesterday, obviously when I was going through all this, the notes, and then today messaging again, and like I'm wearing jeans today that used to just fall off me and I'll never throw them away anymore, and I just message them with pictures of that.
This is all these things.
And then they're just like, God, you look so healthy, and even though all of this going on, like we said, it's so manageable compared to that. So without them, but shout out to the boyfriend again, I guess. He'll get angry. Of course. Sam, he's been amazing. Like we met here, and we're actually half an hour away from each other in London. We've not even known each other a year, and what he's had to go through, like, oh my God. I remember when we were getting quite serious, I had to tell him all this first, because I've had a lot of problems in the past with, like, I will distance myself, you know, I will go back to that sometimes. I have flashbacks still, quite bad. So there are still a lot of things, so he needed to know. And I remember getting wine, knowing I was going to tell him, wine is a key feature, isn't it? Like, oh well. And
the next podcast will definitely have wine.
I think we need to,
wine and snacks.
Yes, please, yeah. It's medically advised, actually. I have to have red wine for my circulation.
Oh really? Oh well, that's fair.
And snacks for my body, so go on. But yeah, so I literally told him, and I said, so if you want to leave, you can. Because I'm just used to that in a way.
Okay.
It's
also a way of pushing someone away.
Yeah, and I sent him something the other day, and I write letters a lot, and I still do that. When I do that, I push people away. I still do that. I make them out that they've done something wrong so that I can push them away, because I guess I'm more scared of them going. And he gets this every week, and he'll constantly have to go, I'm not leaving. And then I'm like, if he's down, it's me. If someone's down, if you're down right now, it's my fault. Like, so he's got to live with that now. But then also this illness, so he sees behind the scenes. Like I go around smiling, I go home, I'm exhausted. He will massage my legs, like when they're in pain. He will just like hug me. He will leave me alone if I just want to be left alone. But he's, bless him, he hasn't even been here a year, and having to go through all this, and he's had such a nice little life, and I'm like, sorry.
But it's almost like you found your family here, which is nice. He's
been like a big part of my happiness here now, especially this year, like going through this now. Like when I was in hospital last week, he straight away was there before I was even admitted onto the ward. Like in seconds he was there and just sat there the whole time. He did not leave. So So he'll be there for times to sit with wine, and he'll be there in hospital as well. And that was Valentine's Day as well. So, first Valentine's together.
It's going well.
But yeah, so it's like you said, and he has family here, so it's starting to like.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
create, like you said, the family atmosphere and someone to go home to, not on my own.
Which
so
is important.
yeah. So bless him.
So is there, if people want to, maybe they have questions, or if they want to kind of reach out to you, or maybe if they're maybe experiencing some demons themselves, are you open for them to kind of reach out to you, or?
Yeah, I'm so open to talking about stuff now, and so proud of a full recovery. I was even scared when I came to Malta opening up, like what if people don't want to book me as an instructor because they see me as sick, and I thought, well, if they don't, I don't want to teach them. And my passion as an instructor comes from the fact I've been so sick. So if I didn't get that sick, I wouldn't be so passionate. So that's their choice. Do they want a really passionate instructor, or do they want one who's had no history? You choose. That's fine. And so anyone that wants to talk, anyone that wants to, I would go for a coffee and just chat, help anyone. That's the biggest thing, talk. And I want to start something called Walk and Talk. So
yes, okay.
Just like set up a walk and say that I'm willing to talk if you want to. If you want to just come for a walk, fine.
If you just want to listen,
it's
of course.
Easy talk.
It's very nice, And even for men, actually, like I know this is becoming more prevalent now, but just the mental health amongst men.
Yeah.
I think, did we talk about this in the last
They're
one?
like more proud, aren't they? Not proud, but feel like they can't be.
As men, you're as kids, you're taught to like don't be a girl, like by crying and stuff like that, or opening up. You're being a girl.
You're conditioned from the get go.
And it's like so for when you become an adult, and you internalize everything, and if you have demons like this, as men can as well, then it's even worse, because then you think, okay, I'm going to go to the pub, I'm going to watch football, I'm going to grunt. And we don't, and even today, and it's something I'm trying to be better at doing, is that even my mates here in Malta, like I won't call them out, but you go there and you go, all right, you're right, yeah, you're right, and then that's it, and then you just carry drinking. You don't actually go, no, but how are you feeling? You don't. As men, you're not conditioned to do that. So it's,
I've met some people here, because I did some features on mental health, not such in depth, so thanks for taking the time for that. But some came through, and men that you wouldn't think, you think they were like the head authoritative guys, and they've got dark demons going on, and they will sit with me, and I've been for coffees with them to chat and help. Like, I will see the positive, I will turn everything positive. You tell me something, the most negative thing in the world, and I will change that. Not because I make it, that's how I live now.
Which is important.
Take the good times, and everything's good. So you need some positivity. But anyone you're worried about, I want to raise awareness here. I will set something up eventually. It's just about looking at how the best way to do that, but for sure.
Amazing. So is there, what's the best way for people to reach out to you? Email address, Facebook?
So obviously Facebook's Reach 100, all in words, and then you'll find my personal one on there as well. The website is all on my Facebook as well. So
which is reach100.com?
reach-100.com.
We'll share it, we'll put it in the links anyway, just for people to...
And that's got blogs on it, so I write blogs on like what I've been through a bit, and then like the phrase "no pain, no gain," which is my favourite, because I'm like, you want pain, I will give you my pain. If you want pain, hate that phrase.
You'll need about 5 people to staff you.
Literally, I'm like, so lots of blogs and photos and things like that. So
amazing, brilliant. Well, this has been insanely insightful, and
we need a part 2.
We want to kind of...
it's just like every day I go out, I try to do something simple, and it turns into like the biggest adventure ever. People are like, seriously? So we could do a part 2.
Sure.
And just to see how you're progressing your business, but also how you're coping, and even if you have to move from Malta, we can come over where you are.
We'll actually figure out so that I can stay, because I like it here now.
We're not going anywhere. We're all staying.
We're staying.
Staying.
Well, that's we'll definitely do a round 2 just to see how things are progressing. And what you're doing is amazing. Raising awareness, getting people to talk is just we need more of this. So,
it's a good platform. So genuinely, thanks.
Yeah, brilliant. Cool.
Great.
Wow, that was cool, right?
Pretty
When I say
amazing.
cool, I mean it's probably the wrong word to use. I knew I've sort of known Rachel for a little bit now, and I'm aware of some of her stories, but it's just the like I said, it's like a movie.
Yeah.
Like some of the things she's had to go through, and even myself, I didn't really have. I understood obviously anorexia is a mental illness, but I didn't really have a full grasp on the impact it can have and,
That's
and
the
how
exact
involved
same.
it is.
The exact same feeling I had. Yeah, no. From start to finish, I knew bits of the story before, but it didn't all add up until today. Now that I see the full spectrum of it, it's astonishing what she's done, and can't wait to hear part 2 of probably how great things are going to look in the future.
And obviously you've done, as you mentioned, really, it's our meeting at the same time, sorry people. You've done loads of research on chemicals and things like that. So, and you were mentioning before, like some of the things out there that whether she's looked at or not, or we can speak to her about off air. But what would you? I mean, if you were in that kind of situation, is there anything that you would look
honestly,
at?
I wouldn't be able to do anything if I was in that situation because I'd be consumed with everything. But things that I found really interesting were it's just like it seemed like a trauma, that started from being bullied. Everyone has traumas and everyone has triggers. And when she mentioned the things, for example, about the bees, such a positive outcome and just a happy trigger, and we all have them, believe it or not. Things kind of came to light when she mentioned PTSD. I know that there's clinical trials happening now, I believe, in the States, with using, actually, in a very clinical setting, folks, with doctors, but they are using MDMA.
Oh, wow, okay,
to treat
ecstasy.
To treat this type of trauma. A lot of people who engage in combat in let's say, the war, vets, are under a lot of this pressure with PTSD. So it is showing seemingly results. So I'm always kind of up to date on the cutting edge supplements, you could say. But I just thought some of these things really help. She mentioned that she was using steroids, but there's some side effects. I was thinking, why wouldn't she be using something like a growth hormone? I mean, human growth hormone hits everything from a different pathway.
Especially for appetite, right?
Increases appetite as a side effect, but that's a good thing, right? Will keep muscle density. It's not exactly going to fix everything, but it could probably help her quite some bit. So yeah, I guess for the part 2, we'll dive in a little bit more into
yeah, maybe just kind of highlight some things to think about, and whether she has, or because obviously the this Iranian doctor, maybe she will have some insights. I doubt she'll have any time to come on here, but maybe even kind of share some details with her just to get some feedback. It might be interesting as well.
Yeah, the unfortunate reality is that a lot of these things are still being heavily researched. There's business to be made in a lot of these supplements as well. Some providers will outdo other providers. Some people influence in one way, and it goes in this kind of cycle, right? Doctors sometimes can't even advise because it's just a legal matter. Especially when she mentioned her BMI concern at the start of the podcast, that really struck a bell with me. These things, it's just doctors don't want to get sued.
They need to cover their asses. Yeah, and
it's unfortunate, and this is why it opens up the world of medical tourism, which is taking place. We're seeing everywhere now. Everyone's flying to the likes of Istanbul or Panama for stem cells. So these things are taking place, and it's things that are interesting. So in part 2, for sure, we'll dive into more details.
Amazing. Brilliant. Okay, man. Let's wrap it up. And guys, gals, everyone, thanks for listening. Please do subscribe, share this with friends. We're trying to create more awareness. As I mentioned, I think before, we're not doctors. We've got our own knowledge. Maybe I've got some knowledge in some of these fields. a lot of them we don't, and we're just building our knowledge ourselves by doing this, and hopefully sharing it with you and helping in turn you building your knowledge. But I think it's a good shout out to next week is Eating Disorder Awareness Week as well. So I think it's been quite a nice timely thing to do. Rachel's awesome, her journey, and keep listening. We've got some awesome podcasts to come, and we'll see you soon. Please sign up.
Ciao.
Ciao.